Welcome to the main basketball rankings podcast. I'm your host, basketball data nerd Lucas McNelly. Week 1 is in the books, and what a great week 1 it was, both at the college level, the NFL level, and the high school level. Notre Dame lost. The Patriots won. Crazy things going on. So Adam Robinson is here, and he is going to help me overreact to everything that happened in week 1. So the one question I get sometimes is I do predictions for every game on the schedule, including week 1. And it's very hard to do a prediction normally if you don't have any data to go on. So what the model does is it starts with last year's data, because what I found is that good teams stay good, bad teams stay bad, and you don't have a lot of worst to first and first to worst and all that sort of stuff. So people always sort of roll their eyes at that, and so we'll look at how the model did so far in football. 26-14. Thanks, Leavitt. A couple other teams. So 65%. Boys soccer 49-15. That's 76.6%. Girls soccer 50-15. That's 76.9%. And in field hockey 28-8. That's 77.8%. All of those numbers are a little lower than this normal success rate, so they all should go up as they get more data. Give it a couple of games to settle in the rankings, give it enough points for things to actually move, and we should be able to get some clarity. But yeah, I just want to do a quick little introduction there, and without further ado, here's my discussion with our old friend, Adam Robinson. Okay, Adam Robinson is here. He is skipping the debate. We are recording this during the Kamala Harris-Donald Trump debate, which he is oddly invested in, which is strange because I feel like anyone who's paid any attention to politics at all in the last long time already knows what they're voting for, and I'm a little concerned about these people who don't.
Yeah, I'm just concerned about where the country's at in general, overall, and I just wanted to see the train wreck. But I'd rather do this. I'd rather talk some sports, talk football with you, and I'm ready to rock, man. Let's do it.
All right. So I thought, it's a common thing where you overreact to week 1. And so I thought, well, let's just overreact to week 1. It'll be great. It'll be clickbaity.
Sure.
Somebody will get mad at us.
Yep.
Some parent will be upset,
Yep. That's the
ideally.
goal.
So let's just do it. So, but first, since you are one of 2 Lions fans in the state of Maine, I thought I would let you overreact to the Lions' overtime victory over the Los Angeles Rams. Go.
Yeah. I know of actually 3 that are in the main sports world. It's me,
Oh, okay.
Jason Fuller, the Lewiston athletic director,
Oh.
and Spruce Mountain own Scott Bessey. So there's so many of us, and we are already 1-0. Huge win. I was really getting nervous. I think the Puka Nakua injury midway through the game helped the Lions, but I'm not worried about that. We ran the ball down their throat time after time in the overtime, and we're up 1-0. We might have a secondary now. We might have a defense a little bit.
Yeah.
Something that the Lions didn't really have too much of last year, and it was kind of their downfall. And Jameson Williams is still fast, and his legs work this year. And I'm really, really excited about where we could go. We have our other playoff win opponent next week. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Actually, this coming Sunday,
Right.
and good opportunity to go 2-0 against 2 really good teams. But the Lions are looking great.
What is your high end hope for a record at the end of the year?
Oh man, what do they play? 17 games now.
They play
So
17 now. It keeps throwing me off.
yeah, I think 13-4 is something that you can definitely expect without being totally crazy. Saying
Mm-hmm.
it does sound insane out loud to talk about the Lions that way, but Brad Holmes, the GM, has already said it's Super Bowl or bust, and I kind of feel that way
Ooh.
too. But if you're talking about record in the regular season, I think 13-4 is more than doable. I think they're really good on offense in all aspects. They have an incredible offensive line, which has been something the Lions have never had, so that's something new. And the defense looks really strong. And so if they can shore up the secondary and get that consistent, I mean, they don't really have a lot of weaknesses.
Is 15-2 madness? I mean, it's 17-0 is not happening, I don't think. But
Sure.
15-2 in the realm of outlier performances?
I think it's possible because, you know, the losses I think are going to come, you know, they a random one to the Bears or the Vikings that's going to ruin my entire week following. We usually get one or two of those, and someone else will play us really tough. We have the 49ers late in the year, but I think 15-2 is something that you could see happening with just how strong this team is. But I hate talking like this because now something's going to go wrong, and Jason Fuller's going to be pissed at me. That's going to be pissed at me. So I apologize already, but I'm just really excited about this team this year.
Well, so let's pivot to the other NFL one I want to talk about, which is, of course, the Patriots,
Yeah,
who, holy cow,
right.
had an offensive line, sort of, and
Yeah,
like ran the ball.
yeah, they did. Ramondre Stevenson isn't going to blow you away with any kind of speed, but once he gets an opening, he's going to get a first down. And they got him some openings after the whole preseason where they're talking about, you know, we'll put Jacoby Brissett in at quarterback just basically to be a meat shield for the first 4 games when they play really good teams, because he's just going to get batted around. He had a pocket the whole time, and
Yeah,
so I couldn't really believe it. And then on the defensive end, Christian Gonzalez, uh, you
he
know,
was great.
yeah, incredible first year last year before he got hurt, and then he was just amazing against Jamar Chase yesterday, and that Keon White, who's just look him up if you don't really know what he looks like. He's just a statue of a man. He's a robot, and he had 2.5 sacks. Uh, he's going to be awesome for years. He got randomly drug tested on Monday after that game. Uh,
Did he
because he was
really?
so good out of nowhere. But yeah, man, the Patriots' biggest upset of the first week, and I'm starting to kind of really enjoy this team. It's hard to root for. I'm also a Patriots fan, but it's hard to root for losses, even though you want a good draft pick, because I didn't think
Right.
this would be anything. But halfway through that game, I was like, all right, just go win the thing, and it was really fun.
Yeah, I was like halfway through the game going, this is great, but do we want to win this game?
Right? Yeah.
Really? Really, really?
It's tough. I was like, well, you know, the loss would be better overall, but I just can't get myself to be like, yeah, lose, because they were winning for so much of it. I was like, okay, just go win, try to win it,
Yeah.
and then they did, and it was a really good feeling. I really enjoyed it.
I haven't looked at the early, way too early draft boards or anything, but is it like quarterback heavy? Because if May is okay, then we wouldn't, even if we had the first pick, we wouldn't take a quarterback.
Yeah, I think the first overall kind of the expectation is that Georgia quarterback, Carson Beck. I think they
Mm-hmm.
think he's probably going to be number one, and then there's a couple other quarterbacks around, and then if you
Is it
get like the
Dion's
fifth
kid?
pick, yeah, Dion's kid is supposed to be a first rounder, I think. But the other kid that I would want on Colorado is that Travis Hunter, the receiver who also plays some cornerback. I hope he would just maybe stay at receiver, because I think he's super special, and I think he really wants to win. He's just kind of in a weird / bad situation at
It does
Colorado.
seem
But
like a bad situation.
if you could grab him, I think that would be phenomenal.
I don't really follow college football that much because I have this thing where if you can go undefeated and you're not allowed to play for a championship,
Yeah,
is that that's kind of that's crap, you know?
right.
Like I don't care how soft your schedule is. If you're undefeated, you should be in whatever the mix is to try to win
Yeah,
the whole thing. Like, I don't care if you play Navy schedule. Like,
right.
figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. I know UCF a couple years ago, they
Yeah,
weren't in the Final Four. Now it's 12, so hopefully you can
it'd be harder.
avoid that situation this time around now. Um,
So I might be
but
back in. If
yeah,
it's
it's a lot of fun. I follow it a lot just because, I mean, you have a family, you have a life, you have multiple jobs. I have nothing
so many
going on
jobs.
the weekend, So I just watch all football the whole Saturday and Sunday, and so I'm pretty invested in both. But um, yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I probably watch way too much football, but that's okay. I can admit it.
What was okay? So what was the college football? The biggest thing was it the Notre Dame thing?
Oh
Notre
yeah,
Dame losing?
yeah. Uh, Notre Dame losing to Northern Illinois, I think.
Is Northern Illinois good though? I don't have a frame of reference of are they what are they? I don't
Well,
even
so
I
they,
didn't bother to look it up.
yeah, I don't
As you
really
said,
know.
as I was telling you before we got on, I was planning to do prep today,
Yeah,
and I left my house at 7 a.m. and I got back 15 minutes ago. So
right. No, I totally get it. No, I don't think Northern Illinois is ever uh, super strong. They're ranked 25th now, just because I mean they
okay,
beat
so
the
they
fifth
are
team
they're not
essentially.
like they're a legit. It's not like
Yeah,
losing to UMaine Fort Kent.
no, I think they're right. Yeah, I think they're in the MAC, so
Okay.
a decent uh, Power Five, or I mean a Group of Five school. Um, but yeah, it was just shocking because Notre Dame, they bring in the Duke quarterback Riley Leonard, and um, they think they're supposed to be a title favorite from a lot of people, and
Yeah, I'd heard
go
that
down.
they were like what fifth.
Yeah, fifth, right, and that was a huge loss, and I'm glad that happened because people uh, stopped immediately talking about Michigan's really bad loss to Texas. I'm a Michigan fan also, uh, and they got smoked by Texas, and they look really bad. Michigan's starting a quarterback who was a walk-on, zero-star recruit, and somehow has worked his way up to be the starter. But it's at Michigan. You can't do that at Michigan.
You're not
You
supposed to
gotta
do that
have
at Michigan.
you gotta have a recruit that knows what he's doing, and so hopefully we make a change there at quarterback. But yeah, that Notre Dame. I'm as a Michigan fan, I don't really like Notre Dame too much, so that
Sure.
watching the fourth quarter of that one was pretty fun as well.
I mean, it's always fun when a team like Notre Dame loses the game that they should easily win.
Yeah,
You know, unless you're the fan of that team, it's like, yeah, burn it down. All right.
right. Exactly. Yeah, no, I was all for it. I kind of root for any kind of upset. Like I turned Alabama South Florida on in the fourth quarter because Alabama was only up like two. Then they scored like three touchdowns at the end in a row to win convincingly. But I root for any kind of upset just for all sorts of madness and different kinds of things happening. So that's kind of the college football fan I am.
That makes sense. All right, so let's talk about an upset. We're gonna pivot to the high school season. Couple of them.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just gonna say this that you offered your services as trick play coordinator
Yeah.
to Leavitt, and
Yep.
they turned you down.
I know.
And I feel like they maybe could have used that this week.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, they, uh, yeah, they got shut out, right?
You're
To
right
Winthrop.
there.
They
Yeah.
were right there. They lost, I think, 30-0 to
Mm-hmm.
Winthrop, Monmouth, Halldale, Kent Hill. Uh, yeah, 30-0. And it was they broke their 22 game win streak.
Yeah, like 2021 was the last time they lost.
Yep.
I think,
Probably
if I
to,
read that correctly.
yeah, I think it's probably to Cape in the C North C North final.
Okay.
When they had their offensive lineman like dislocate his shoulder, and it was really gross. And then they Cape had like a 10-minute drive down the field at the end of the
Wow.
game, and won in the last second. So yeah, they've just been a juggernaut. They were killing Class A teams last year. They were probably the best team in the state, I think, last year.
Mm-hmm.
And Winthrop at home took them down. They're usually a really strong program too, but yeah, surprising. I saw that score come across, and I almost went to that game. I saw
I
that
almost went to
score
that
show
game
up on
too.
Twitter, and it was really surprising.
Yeah, I just like I heard something about them losing, and I went, "What? Really? Wow!" And
Yeah,
then I went pulled up WHOU and just sort of scanned to the back of the end of the game and saw the score, and I went, "Whoa!" And you know they
yeah,
lost a lot of talent, but I think when I talked to Andrew Hart last week, I think it was last week For the football preview, I think the consensus was that they're still the favorites in C North, and I believe he talked about how good Winthrop was. But I don't
Mhm.
think anyone expected 30 to nothing.
Yeah, no, I had to go and read the Sun Journal article about it, and then they had uh, Varsity Maine's doing a football honor roll every week, so it's like the best
Hmm.
players. And Cody Cobb had 11 tackles. He had an interception. He forced 2 fumbles, and he ran for a touchdown. That's usually something that a Leavitt kid is doing against
Yeah,
the other team. So, and then they had Carter Rivers, who ran for 136 and a touchdown for Winthrop. So, yeah, just really impressive. And I mean, at some point, Leavitt was going to lose and come back down to earth. They lost a lot of people last year, like including Noah Carpenter, who I think's at UMaine now.
I think so.
Um, should be playing baseball, I think, or maybe also football. I don't know what he decided to do actually at the end of the day, but um, yeah, they're gonna
The
have to
one
retool and figure it out.
the one thing I heard and talking to people was that it was not maybe as lopsided as the score indicated. I think there were some uncharacteristic penalties from Levitt that negated some big plays.
Yeah,
And I mean, you've seen enough football games, I've seen enough football games that it can really swing on a couple of plays sometimes, and a 14-13 game can become a 30 to nothing game with 3 4 things.
yeah, and I think Mike Hathaway had a quote. One of the first quotes in the story for the Gamer was that a lot of their touchdowns just kept getting called back. I think Levitt muffed a punt and was Winthrop had a really short field and scored pretty soon after that. So just a bunch of different things. And yeah, you're right. That can switch really quick. I'm not sure who Levitt had at quarterback. I'd have to go back and look, but they have a new one this year. But they usually have someone prepared. It's usually
Mm-hmm.
when they've had Hunter Hayes. Um, that year when he started most of the games, Hathaway was like, "Yeah, we've got this Noah Carpenter. He's ready to go. If Hunter wasn't there, he'd be starting everywhere else." And he was right. So they usually have somebody ready to rock, and the good programs do. But
Right.
shout out to Winthrop uh, getting it done. Big Class D win.
Yeah, that's a huge win for them. And you see the thing we saw it in the Bengals Patriots game where I forget who it was running it and looked like he was running into touchdown and they knocked it away and all of a sudden it's a fumble and you're going the other way. And that's just a huge swing.
Right. Yeah, that stuff can happen. So big win for Winthrop. That's got to really help. They got a first year head coach too, Joel Staunton, I believe. And so yeah, Joel Staunton, he's back with Winthrop. That's huge for them, and it's only a Class C win, but it's really like those kids. I think one of the quotes from one of the players was, "This was our Super Bowl," and I mean, you kind of have to look at it like that because Levitt's the
You
cream of
hate
the
to
crop.
hear that as a coach
Yeah,
in week
yeah,
one.
well, right, yeah, week
Yeah, we're
one, this
done.
is the Super Bowl.
That's
Yeah,
it.
right, we did it. Cool. Yeah, but I'd be surprised if Winthrop didn't get another win the rest of the year. So I think
Yeah.
they might be all right.
So is it panic time for Levitt? Do they need to bring you on full time trick play coordinator? Are
Yes,
you ready?
I am. I'm ready. I've sent Hathaway 2 trick plays, I think. And the first one I said, "You know what to do," and he said, "On it." So I think I'm going to see that one at some point. Second one, he said, "I should just bring you on the staff," and then he lost, and I didn't hear anything else. And I think there's a correlation there, Lucas,
Yeah.
that you know I'm sending stuff, and he didn't want any more help. They've got 100 guys on that sideline. I think they can add one more. I think I'm ready to go.
Sometimes uh, people get overconfident. They
Sure.
think we've got it all handled,
Mm-hmm.
and they
Mm-hmm.
stop looking for great ideas out of
Right.
left field,
Yep.
in abnormal places because they've been so successful. And when you're that successful, sometimes you go, I think we've got it covered, guys,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't realize what you've got over, 3 rows back in the stands.
Exactly. I mean, I sent him a play that the punter fakes a kick and throws like an underhand pass 30 yards down the field to a guy, and it looks like he kicked it. And I mean, where else are you getting that? I have a beautiful mind here. I'm ready to rock. And Hathaway just doesn't want to listen. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, you know,
Any
that's,
coach in the league that wants me drawing up some plays, and my services are available still.
I mean, there's some C North teams that could, get some real leverage out of that.
Right. If I have to go to Cape, I will. I'll do it.
Yeah. There you go. All right. So moving on, we're going to overreact again. Old Orchard Beach, they're back.
Oh my gosh.
80-14 over Booth Bay. 80 points.
Yeah.
Like, how?
They had 46 in the first quarter.
What? I didn't see that.
Wes Gallant had 121 yards and 3 touchdowns on just 6 carries. And I mean,
I don't even know that many points in the first quarter.
I don't know how you score 46 because they're 10-minute quarters, right? So I really don't understand. That's like,
how do you get that many possessions?
I don't know. That's 7 touchdowns in the first quarter. I don't know how you even do it. There's probably like a kick return. They probably got a pick or forced a fumble.
Or they fumbled the kickoff,
right,
or something.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to do things like that. Poor Booth Bay. Oh, this is from the Sun Journal. Their football notebook from week 1. Steve Craig, I think, put this together. It's really good. But the scoring barrage came without the benefit of a Booth Bay turnover.
What?
So Booth Bay didn't turn the ball over, and they still had 7 touchdowns in the first quarter.
That's insane. Like, even we should ask Ethan Snow, because I think he did the game.
That's who you need to have on.
Maybe I'll have him on next week and mix it up a little bit, see what he's got for overreactions. But yeah, even if they're 3 and out, like,
and
a
punt, it doesn't seem like you have enough time.
Yeah, even if you score in 1 play,
right? That's still 7 long touchdowns, and you have to make stops 6 times. I just don't. Mathematically, it makes no sense. I need to ask Ethan Snow, even if you don't have him on. So one of us needs to ask him what happened so we can report back next week.
Okay,
because that's
the plan. We could watch it because I think it's the WHOU broadcast.
Yeah, we can just go back and watch the highlights. Okay,
you can see how prepared I am for this. Okay, so I did go to a game. Did you get to any games?
No, I had family stuff coming up, but I was locked in on Twitter, and I couldn't get to any games. I was going to go to Leavitt if I could, but I couldn't make it.
Okay, so I went to a soccer game, and which is one of the crazy. I'll just do a quick side thing on the soccer game. I went to because I live in Damascus, so I went to the Lincoln Academy Morse soccer game, and the Morse couple things. Morse's goalie was wearing the same color jersey as Lincoln Academy. Which is an issue.
Yeah,
it is black, so you would think you would have to expect that to come up.
Yeah.
Right? For one. 2, it took the refs like 10 minutes to notice this until there was a corner or something like that. And they went, whoa. These refs were, you don't want to criticize refs too much because there's a ref shortage, but these guys were old. They were quite old. Anyway, so they had him put on, I thought at first it was a basketball jersey, but I think it was a lacrosse jersey because it had a 7 in the number. So that's one thing. So Lincoln played really well. They lost 1-0, hit the post once, and then something I feel like you don't really see in soccer. They got by the goalie with the ball, and an attacker dribbling the ball by the goalie and didn't score. Because like a weak side defender came in and like knocked it away at the goal line.
Yeah,
and you're just like, no.
That's got to be a soul crushing moment for the attacker.
And especially if you lose 1-0.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a thing. And then I went to the next day I went to a field hockey game. And so then I ended up at Madomic Herman. And so Herman it was a pretty interesting game. It rained the whole time, even though there was no rain in the forecast. Perfect. Did not rain at my house, but it rained the entire time
Yeah.
Waldeboro.
Right.
Sure. Um, so Herman's good. Herman's good. Madomic's good. I don't think they're as good as last year. But they're pretty good. I got there. It was 8-0, and then it was very quickly 14-0, and then Madomic was able to turn up the defense and ended up being a 14-8 game. But when I talked to Andrew Hart, he said Herman might be the team to beat in C North, and it seems like they might be.
Yeah. I mean, when I was with the Bangor Daily News, obviously going up there, I learned a lot about a lot of different teams, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not usually a Herman guy, but I started learning about them. I interviewed Jacob Dow a couple times. He's now at the University of Maine playing on the line there, and they'll just try to beat you down. At least
Yeah.
when I was there, they're physical. They're usually pretty big. They run the ball a lot. At least when I saw them, and so yeah, they if they're the team to beat, they have Oceanside in that region also, who made the state game last year and then just got
Mm-hmm.
shellacked by that Leavitt team. But uh, that's interesting. I mean, what stood out to you the most about that Herman team this year?
They were really physical, really good defensively. They ran the ball pretty well. Where the big thing is I sort of missed all their scoring, so I didn't get a good sense of how that all went down. But yeah, it was Madomic came back and they got a Gabe Lash touchdown. And he had an interception too in the game and was punting. He was all over the place.
Yeah, that's
Um,
about right.
which yeah, it was not really a surprise.
Right.
Yeah, but Madama had a couple chances to win it, and they got down. I think they got down within the red zone in the fourth quarter, and
Mhm.
were unable to come away with it. And then they had one more drive, and Herman just ratcheted up the defense, and he got like 2 or 3 straight sacks
Yeah,
in the final possession to shut the door.
that's awesome. Yeah, no, I mean that when I saw them a few times, they were just physical as all hell. So it sounds like they're still keeping that going. And I guess yeah, Oceanside they lose the Galley boys, right?
Yeah.
They were seniors, and they were really big for their football team. So I guess yeah, C North would be open to whoever wants it, and Herman, Hamden, they both got wins in C North. It looks like so.
Hmm.
It'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
Yeah, that could be a really competitive region, which is always fun.
Yeah, can I tell you a team to look out for?
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
Noble. I think they're in. Are they in A South?
Oh, it's Jameer Rose.
Yeah. Oh my God. So I went to a few games last year, and one of them was their opener. They came to Auburn and played Edward Little,
Hmm.
and Jameer Rose. That was before I knew really anything about him, but he jumps off. Jumps off the film, jumps off the page. He you could see him just watching the game. He looked different from everyone else. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
um, they beat Wyndham last Friday. He had 2 touchdowns in the air, 65 rushing yards, and a touchdown on the ground. And he played safety for Noble, and they won handedly. And I think he's going to be a real problem. Varsity Maine had like their preseason guys to watch, and he's one of
Hmm.
them. And I really do think that he's going to be special. And he's a really good basketball player, too.
I think he's Mr. Basketball this year.
Yeah, I think he's.
I think he's the front runner
Yep.
because
Yeah.
Cooper decided he wanted to do other things,
Yeah.
and
Honestly, kind of lame, right?
kind of lame. A couple other people decided they would go play prep at these prestigious things and get invited to NBA events. You know,
Yep. Yep.
just really, really selfish behavior.
Yeah.
Looking out for
I
your
know.
own future.
It's kind of ridiculous. Tegan Pelletier and Landon Clark, nope, they all wanted to go, do bigger things and get Division 1 offers and, you know, whatever. But
And now we got the Breens doing the same thing. It's contagious. It's this
yeah,
whole thing. It's spreading all over the place.
I know. How dare them try to further their basketball careers at the expense of us, the main high school viewer. But yeah, I think he's he's going to be awesome. and Gabe Lash also. I like that our podcast has already gone to high school basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you go to the game and you're like, who's the 6'6" kid? Oh, that's Gabe Lash. Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh,
That
he's
makes
doing
sense.
everything right? Yep. Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. And you just keep
Um,
going, why don't you just throw him the ball more?
yeah, right.
Just
Just force it to him. He'll go get it.
just force it to him. Yeah, why not?
Right.
Actually they tried to, but Herman's defense was just that good.
Yeah, right. Really stout. Yeah.
All right.
But
So
I just wanted to get you on Jameer Rose, the football player.
I had heard last year that he was quite good at football.
Yeah, because he can throw it, and he's just quicker than everyone else. He seems pretty smart. He's got a good head on his shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to bring them up. And the other
He
team,
sees the court really well, so it doesn't surprise me at all.
yeah, exactly. He's a good point guard. He's gotten invited to all those off-season basketball things. You keep seeing his name show up this summer, so excited to see him. Where else did you want to go? I had one more game that I kind of wanted to talk about.
Okay. I'll do a quick we'll stick on a basketball offshoot.
Yeah.
Have you heard that the Galley twins they ended up at Kent State in the prep thing that Kent State does? Or Kent's Hill, rather.
Kent's Hill, yeah.
Kent's Hill with Hebert, however you want to say it.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, that might be a team to pay attention to this winter, because those three guys playing together be a lot of fun.
Oh, do you mean Noah Hebert from G&G?
Yeah, from G&G.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun to go see. That'd be a heck of a team.
Or it might be Nate. It's one of them.
Yeah, Nate, I think probably.
It might be all of them.
It could be. But
hard to say. That'd be a good starting lineup. All three Eberts and 2 Galleys.
Yeah, that'd be
good luck.
Yeah, have fun with that. No, that'd be a really fun group to watch. The Galleys, they were just so fun. But Orono, obviously really strong. And then they
had a big win.
They won by like 1 million. I have to go find their final score, but they had a bunch in the first half. And Jack Brewer, if you guys, anyone listening, if you guys have a chance to see Orono football this year, go do it, because Jack Brewer's still the quarterback. They still have Will Francis. They're an awesome offense to watch in small school 8-man. So
54-6.
Yeah, they're really fun, and I think they had most of that in the first half, and they probably just took people out. But
yeah, I saw the clips. Oh, there is a clip from the if you go to Eastern Maine Sports' YouTube page, they've got a clip of a really great tackle in the Madomic Herman game.
Nice. Okay.
By this Madomic kid who's one of their best wrestlers just picked this guy up and just threw him on the ground.
Awesome.
They had a great angle of it. Yeah. I was standing on the sideline when it happened. I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
all right, we're going here."
Yeah. He took his wrestling skills to football.
Yeah. Yeah. Then someone goes, "That's one of the wrestlers." Like, oh, yeah, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. Adds up. Right.
That adds up. So I have a thing. I noticed this the other day, and I should have noticed this last year, and I don't know why I didn't. So there's this co-op team that they lost to Holton, 46-0. But it's the Madawaska and 52 other schools co-op team up there. And they go by Valley, which is very confusing to me because we have a school actually called Valley.
Yeah.
That is in a different co-op. And I just want to flag this as a bad idea.
I think it's a bad idea too. We have too many
what
valleys.
are we doing?
We have mountain
There's too many valleys.
Too many valleys. Come up with a new name.
Yeah. Call yourselves the county. I don't know.
Exactly. Because we have to be able to differentiate for the layman people out there, and also for me. Yeah. I have to know what I'm talking about. And so, yeah, too many valleys.
And my spreadsheet's getting confused because you've got a valley and a valley, and it's 2 different places.
Yeah.
And doesn't know what to do with it. And also, these co-op teams, there's so many schools in these teams. And like I appreciate the idea of giving them a name that's not Winthrop, Halldale, blah, 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 but you can't pick a school that already exists.
Yeah.
You know?
You can't, you're right. You can't just pick, it'd be like one of them just picking like Lewiston. You can't do that.
Yeah. You can't just be Lewiston. You can't be Cape Elizabeth.
Yeah. No,
even
can't do
though
that.
you're in, northern Maine.
Yep.
That
But
doesn't make any sense.
there's plenty of names you could come up with. My favorite co-op abbreviation, I think it's a hockey team. It's Poland, Leavitt, Oak Hill, and Gray, I think, but it's Plog. Or you could go Glop too.
Glop,
But
gloop,
that's my
would
favorite.
gloop work?
Yeah, sure. Call it. But yeah, you're right. Too many valleys, and that's something that we need to go straight to Mike Bisson about.
Yeah, I think they would be. I think they would be responsive to that.
Yeah, especially you and
They
me.
already love hearing from us.
Yes. Yeah, we're tight. So I think that'll be good. I think that's our next homework is to figure out
Yeah,
the valley situation.
yeah, I think that's good. I think there could be a different name, and I'm not sure what it could be. All right, so let's find something else to overreact to. Do you have any?
I don't really have too much more. Lewiston beat Bonnie Eagle, and that's a really big win
Yeah.
for Lewiston. Who, I mean, first off, Bonnie Eagle's usually the cream of the crop here in Class A. It's them and Thornton going at it every year, and Lewiston beat them. Jason Versey, the head coach, had him playing really well, and they shaved Jason Versey's hair after the game
Wow.
because he said
Wow.
if they won they could do that. But I it's awesome because Lewiston's usually kind of a low tier team, and so is Edward Littleben. And so like when they play each other at the end of the year, it's like 3-5 against 2-6, and you're like, okay, great. But if Lewiston can beat Bonnie Eagle, they know that they have the guys to take on that kind of a team. I don't see why not. They could finally win 5, maybe 6 games this year, and put on for Lewiston, the biggest population in the state for a high school, finally have a pretty good football team.
You would think the largest population school would be able to field a football team.
You would think, man. I know, but here we are.
And
Uh,
they were 14 and a half point underdogs in that game according to the model. And the model of course is not factoring in anything from this year preseason, who lost who for seniors or whatever. It's just completely based on last year. But that's still a pretty big swing.
yeah, it's a pretty big upset, and if I were to have an overreaction, I think that they could probably go win 5 or 6 games because they got a lot of seniors.
Hmm.
They got Joe Doobie and Riker Parody, who both running backs or maybe slash fullback, and then Lonnie Thomas at quarterback. And I just think that they're big, and they're kind of based on the quotes that Jason Versey was given after the game. He's, no one believes in us, but
Oh, we're going.
we
Okay.
believe in us.
Yeah.
And he didn't think that Lewiston had beat Bonnie Eagle for the last 20 years. So that's really big. I think it's just a
Wow.
really big win for their confidence. And a team like that, I think that'll take them a little bit far.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes if you can get over the hump of a team like that, that's can be huge for because I think you see it in every level. You see it at every thing. There's the team that you just can't beat.
Yep.
And once you beat them, all bets are off.
Yeah. The weight's off your shoulders. And so it'll be interesting to see if Lewiston can build on it. Lonnie Thomas, their quarterback, he ran in for 2 touchdowns, and he threw a touchdown, and he intercepted 2 passes on defense. So
Wow.
big game for him, and big game for Lewiston. And that's really the last one of week 1 that I thought was, real noteworthy. Also, shout out Spencer Emerson, the new head coach at Falmouth.
Oh
They
yeah,
got,
yeah. They had their first win,
yep, they got
his
a
first
12-0
win.
win, and he's had a lot of success wherever he's gone at a bunch of different levels, and so it's cool to see him get their first win over Chevrolet, and we'll see where that season takes them.
Cool, cool. All right, let's pivot a little to this next week. So there's 2 things I want to flag for this coming week, and I don't know if you have any more, but so the first one is the 8th annual Autism Awareness Night across the state. We now have 38 teams participating this weekend. This is according to a tweet by BL Lippert.
Yeah.
So do you? I think you know more about this than I do.
Yeah. So I work at Margaret Murphy Center for Children, and it works with kids with autism and different special needs. And BL Lippert has a son who has special needs, and I think that's where, don't quote me on this, but I believe that BL Lippert, has started this. It springs from his own personal experiences, and so it started with his team, and I think maybe Leavitt, because Mike Hathaway is married to Michelle Hathaway, who runs a lot of Margaret Murphy as a whole. So they're doing it, and it's just exploded, and it's so cool to see so many different teams and coaches and players all get behind this cause for 1 week a year, and it's really cool how every year you can see it grow, and more teams. 38 teams is just so crazy. It's so awesome to see that kind of support across the state, and I couldn't be happier. BL Lippert, great guy, and really good football coach, really good person, and I know that he's just as excited to see that the state's really getting behind this cause that he's trying to show people needs eyeballs on it, and he's done a wonderful job of expanding it throughout the state.
Yeah, it's like a really great cause. I think I saw somewhere that if apologies if I get this wrong, that Poland is giving out bags that have like
Yeah,
different sensory items. I really don't know a lot about this, so apologies in advance. But like fidget spinners and
right. Yeah, like
headphones and
fidgets and stuff.
earplugs.
Yeah, headsets. I think it's either Poland or Lake Region, and this is I saw the same post that you did because BL posted
Mm-hmm.
um, that they wanted to give out things to kids in the stands that might need, yeah, headphones if it gets too loud, or things to keep them occupied, different things that we use at our schools. And so I just think the level of awareness is amazing, and the thought that's getting put into a lot of these games and situations, I think, is just phenomenal. So shout out to BL and the whole cause that he is promoting, because it's an awesome one.
Do you want to make an overreaction prediction of how long until every team in the state does this, or how long until it comes to basketball too?
I'd love to see it come to basketball, because it's a lot of the same coaches and a lot of the same kind of people that are doing it. I think if BL wanted to spread it, I don't think he coaches basketball, but
I don't think
um,
so.
if he wanted to spread it, I'm sure he could get it to basketball, and I think it would spread pretty quickly in that world as well. But I think overreaction football, I think in like 2 years, why wouldn't every team be a part of this? I think it's probably
Yeah.
just teams not knowing about it at this point, because I feel like if you learn about it, you'd want to be a part of it. I don't see why not. So yeah,
There's
a couple
not really
years.
a lot of scenarios you go, nah,
Right.
we don't like that.
Yeah, it'd be a weird thing to refuse. So
But you never know.
yeah, but I think it's just teams not knowing about it, or not being near Coney, or
Mm-hmm.
Maine's a pretty big, wide, separated state. So I hope that that's probably just the reason that it's not everywhere yet. But I love the growth it's made, and 38 teams is wonderful.
Then again, there were people who voted against Martin Luther King Day as a holiday. So
Well, right, yeah. There's always those. Um,
there's always
yeah.
some people who
So
just have to
yeah,
be difficult.
right. We'll see. But yeah, that's where we're at. It's pretty cool, man. I love it.
So the other cool thing from this week that I wanted to flag was the Witches game, where if you're not familiar with this, there's two schools in the country that have the Witches
Oh yeah.
as their mascot. Of course, Brewer, who is in a blood feud with my spreadsheet.
Yep.
So
Of course.
we're gonna set that aside. We're not retiring it. We're just gonna set it aside. And of course the Salem witches, because they have a history with witches, and it's not always positive.
Right.
And so I get why you name yourself the witches, but I feel like it's a little problematic for witches in
Yeah.
general because it's not like you were nice to them.
No,
You
no,
know,
you killed him.
it's a little weird.
Right.
But they're playing this weekend
Yep.
in Brewer, which is very cool. And I don't know what they're. I'm assuming they're doing all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, if I know Utterback, he's David Utterback, the athletic director there at Brewer. I think he's going to do some big things. He's been looking forward to this since I was down there. So yeah, I think it's a really cool game. I can't believe there's only two teams, but they're close
Yeah,
enough where they can play. Um,
it's kind of cool. I'm a
yeah,
little surprised they're not doing this Halloween weekend.
yeah, that's a miss. That's a miss on their part.
That seems like the
Um,
obvious place for it.
yeah, maybe we should suggest that to Utterback, and I'm sure he'll be really receptive to us giving him ideas, telling him how to run his school. I think that'd be good. So,
I don't
but
see any downside to that. Like,
yeah,
I
no,
see
I think
no scenario where that could go wrong.
no, he would love that.
Um, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping they like go all out. We get like a cauldron. I feel like you got to
Right.
have a cauldron.
Yep.
The hats. You have
Yep.
the pointy hats
Hmm.
thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see what they do. I thought about going up there, and then I realized it's 2 hours away. And I
Yep.
thought, do I want to go 2 hours each way? It's a lot. So I'm thinking about it.
This. Okay. Yeah. Well, let me know if you do go.
Okay.
Yeah, they could play some like crazy noises over the loudspeaker,
Mm-hmm.
maybe during the game, throw people
Mm-hmm.
off. Yeah. I think there's a lot of things you can do. It's just how crazy do you want to get, David? You know?
Yeah. And then I wonder if next year, do they go down to Salem?
I
Is this
think
a
so.
multi-year
I think
thing?
yeah, I think they went down last year, I think.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, and so this year it's in Maine. So I hope they go all out. I hope they have fun with it. I think they will. They have a new complex, right? In Brewer?
Yeah, they've got a bunch of new
Yeah.
stuff. I saw there's like a new tennis court that's curing or something,
Yep.
and a
Which they
bunch of
needed.
stuff.
That football field was cool, historic, but it was getting beat down. So that's cool that they have their own stuff now. Um, yeah, hope they have fun with it.
All right. Are there any other games you're looking at as interesting?
Oh man, I haven't even looked, but I'm excited to see what Leavitt can do to bounce back,
Mm-hmm.
because you know I'm Hathaway and that coaching staff in all seriousness is not going to just take that laying down.
Right.
So it will be interesting to see how they bounce back. I'm sure they will.
I'm scanning
But
to see who they play if I can find it.
it looks like they got Brunswick, so that's a good.
Okay.
Unfortunately for Brunswick, it's a good team to bounce back against. Um,
Right.
Falmouth has Skowhegan. Foxcroft has Oceanside. That's
That's
Foxcroft's
interesting.
always really strong in Oceanside, like we said. C North champions last year, so that'll be an interesting team game to
Mm-hmm.
watch as well.
Coney Lawrence.
Coney Lawrence, that's a rivalry game if we've ever seen one, and
Right.
that's the Autism Awareness Night. So that's a big one. If you were going to pick a game and you were in the area, I would suggest that one. That'll be a fun atmosphere.
The Coney Lawrence one. And I'm sort of scanning through the rest of them here. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
Oxford Hills
names.
Bonnie Eagle. Oxford Hills lost to Portland 40-20, I think,
Yep.
in week one. That's a team that's going through a lot of new guys as well. And Bonnie Eagle wants to bounce back against after losing to Lewiston. So those are two teams that want to get in the win column pretty badly.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So that looks like week 2. What else what are you looking forward to for the rest of the season?
I
You got any
just
predictions? Do you want to throw any wild predictions out of who's going to
yeah.
win a gold ball?
Um, well, I'll pick my boys Noble. I'll pick them to win Class A for sure because I just think they're really fun to watch, and I'm a big Jameer Rose guy now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
Hard not to be.
yeah, I'll pick them. And wow, what if I said that there'll be a new Class C champion this year?
Ooh. Ooh.
It's always so hard because if it's not coming out of the South, like if it's not Leavitt or Cape, the North hasn't stacked up against those two powerhouses recently, at least. So it'd be interesting to see if maybe a Herman could
Mm-hmm.
just bulldoze their way through the North and give the South team a run for their money. That'd be interesting to see.
That would be interesting. So D, do we feel like it's Winthrop now? They've got to be the team to beat.
I think it's Winthrop.
I mean, they already had their Super Bowl. So that
They did.
aside,
They did. So that's not great. Poland beat Lisbon, I guess, on Friday. I was going to say because Lisbon has Winthrop this upcoming week. They're usually strong, but yeah, I guess it's Winthrop. If they have the facilities to beat Leavitt like that, and they can hold that and not get too ahead of themselves, and maybe come back down and have another couple Super Bowls on their season.
later in the
uh,
year.
I like their chances in D.
Did you do B? Blah.
I don't know too much about B. What I mean, you've looked through your models a little bit. Do you have anyone that we should be looking at in B?
In B, let's just see who's the highest ranked right now. I mean, Levitt's still number 2. So the highest ranked team in B is Kennebunk right now.
Oh, okay.
So
All
the
right.
top 10, I'll run through it real quick.
Sure.
So it's early, so there's not a lot of points to work with, much like in heel points where there's just nobody's worth
Yeah.
anything yet.
Yeah.
So you don't move a lot. So your top 10 is Portland, Levitt, Kennebunk, Thornton Academy, Lawrence, Oxford Hills, Foxcroft, Bonnie Eagle, Oceanside, and Wells.
Okay. Yeah.
And then
Lawrence
Orono's 11.
Lawrence is always strong, and they've got Coney, another B North team this week. So I think that'll be an early season preview of what's to come, maybe in B North. But yeah, I for some reason at the Sun Journal, I never really zeroed in on a lot of B. Like we had Mount Blue. They can be fun. That's a really good atmosphere if you somehow find yourself in the Farmington area. I would go to a game there. That's a really fun place to see a football game. But yeah, Massabesic and Kennebunk won in the South. Deering won. Also, they had a really convincing win. So
That was an upset, I think.
yeah, I think it was. But they beat Marshwood pretty good. Maybe by like 20 or so. It's not on the Crabtree, but I know they won.
Yeah, they did. I can find it.
Let's see, Deering. This is good podcasting. Oh, here,
This
35
is really
to 8.
professional of us. Yeah, I thought it was pretty much a blowout.
Yeah. So they're a team to watch probably, but yeah, we'll just have to see how Class B shapes up. And then in 8-man, I just like Orono again. I think if they have that kind of offense and they've got Jack and Will Francis at the helm still, I think they can take on anyone.
Orono versus OOB probably.
Probably. OOB with their 40-something points in the first quarter. I still can't believe that. That's the craziest thing to come from this podcast.
I think I am going to watch the tape of that.
Yeah, we got to get to the bottom of that.
All right. Do you have anything? You got anything coming out?
I want to get the podcast back in at least. So be on the lookout for that. Main Sports Today. Go subscribe, and I will have stuff coming out pretty soon. But I've just been kind of hanging out and being a pest on Twitter. So
Hey,
Fun/y Rob if you want to follow along. But yeah, that's what I've got. Not a whole lot right now, Lucas. But been following your stuff and following the real journalists out here, you and the newspapers. So
and Eastern Maine Sports.
Yeah, Eastern Maine Sports, Bangor Daily News, all that good stuff. So
Cool. Well, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Lucas. Anytime. I'm sure we'll get back together soon in this football season and overreact some more. This was a lot of fun.
And then we can go look and see what nightmare has happened during the debate.
Yes, great, awesome, love it.
All right, thanks a bunch.
Yep.
Okay, that's the show. Thanks again to Adam for joining me. You really should check out his Substack and subscribe to it. Subscribe to his podcast in all the places. Follow him on Twitter. Speaking of subscribing to podcasts, really great help if you subscribe to this one, if you enjoy it. Leave a good review if you like what you saw and or what you heard, and tell your friends, because this is a fun little thing, and the more it grows, the more people get to listen to it, the easier it is to carve out time in my day to be able to do it. So so this has been a production of MaineBasketballRankings.com, your source for the most comprehensive coverage of Maine high school basketball from Ashland to York and everywhere in between. This podcast is produced by yours truly, Lucas McNally, and is available wherever you listen to podcasts and in all of the places you don't. If you enjoy it, please leave a nice review because it really does help out with the algorithms. Tell your friends, tell your enemies. Thanks for listening.